The Holy Court has ruled. Archangel Michael says, your case has been reviewed in heaven. And the result is shocking. My beloved child, listen very carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not something any normal soul receives access to. The heavenly realm does not just discuss every human this deeply. They only open files for souls who are chosen, souls who are marked, souls who carry a divine role on earth that affects the timeline of thousands connected to them. And today I tell you, this with truth. Heaven held a hearing. Your name was called. Your case was reviewed. And the verdict is not something the world has ever prepared you for. Archangel Michael says this is not imagination. This is not random. This is not coincidence. There are layers in the spirit world that most people will never know exist. But your destiny has been interfering with dimensions for a long time and haven't finally stepped into rule on your path forward. For months, angels have been debating. For weeks, divine protectors have been watching how you were being spiritually blocked. For days, the Holy Court observed the intentions of people connected to you. And last night, that file was stamped. A ruling was made. The outcome has already been sealed before you even knew it was happening. You need to understand this in the deepest way. Heaven does not move based on emotion. Heaven does not move based on fear. Heaven moves only based on truth. Every emotion you felt in silence. Every betrayal you faced without telling anyone. Every wound your heart carried, but never spoke about, became evidence inside the heavenly courtroom. Each tear became a witness. Each silent cry became a testimony. Each heartbreak became a document placed in front of Archangel Michael. And the angels had no choice but to expose what was truly happening behind your life. The shocking part is this. The judgment was not against you like your enemies wanted. The judgment was for your eyes. Your spiritual record was not found guilty. It was found righteous. Your soul was found loyal even when humans around you were not. Your heart was found clean even when others tried to poison your name with lies they themselves believe. And this is why Archangel Michael says heaven ruled in your favor. The final sentence released over your timeline shocked every shadow that tried to silence your destiny. They expected your fate to be blocked, but instead you were authorized to ascend. This ruling is the reason you suddenly felt tired of chasing people. This ruling is the reason your spirit suddenly detached from old pain without effort. This ruling is the reason your intuition suddenly became louder and clearer than every doubt. This ruling is why your old cycles are collapsing, because heaven said you do not belong inside painful prisons anymore. You have completed karmic contracts that were designed only to shape you. But now your divine contract is entering activation mode. The angel said, you have served enough time as the one who always tries. You have served enough time as the one who always forgives silently. You have served enough time as the one who loves deeply but gets broken in return. Your season of being overlooked is done. Your season of being misunderstood is done. Your season where others take advantage of your heart without consequences is done. Heaven has signed the ending decree and the Holy Court made this official. Archangel Michael also revealed something deeper. Someone in your life had intentions that were never pure. This person wanted you small because your destiny frightened them. They felt threatened by the version of you that was coming. And they tried delaying you through emotional manipulation, silence, confusion, or fear. Heaven saw every move they made. Heaven watched every attempt they used to keep you stuck in a loop. And heaven said, "Enough is enough." Their permission to influence your path has now been revoked. Your spirit is not under their hold anymore. Their opinion no longer has legal power over your future. That is why lately certain people feel heavy to you even without speaking. That is why certain connections feel like dead weight now. That is why certain energies feel like they are falling away on their own. This is not loss. This is liberation. The Holy Court said you are entering a level where only souls align with protection, purity and purpose will be allowed near you. Now something unbelievable is happening next. There is a shift counting not physical first but spiritual authority rise. The angels are now preparing to restore what was stolen, emotionally, financially, spiritually and socially. The ruling says restoration is not a future possibility. It is a divine order that already started. Every delay is now being reversed. Every stolen blessing is now being reassigned. Every timeline that was slowed is now accelerating. You are not stepping into blessings slowly. You are being catapulted into it. You will start noticing signs, not common signs, not repeating numbers only, but very personal confirmations that only you will understand, messages that feel too exact, conversations that align too precisely, opportunities that appear too suddenly. Moments that feel like they were scripted for you. Because after heaven rules, the earth must obey. And now I need you to breathe and open your heart fully because the next part 1 reveal to you will show you who tried to block this breakthrough the most and why heaven exposed them at this exact timing. There is a shocking truth behind why your case was delayed for so long and why suddenly everything is moving fast. Now you will understand the hidden reason in the next part. Don't skip. Every new season in your life always looked like it was trying to start, but it kept collapsing before it became stable. Every time blessing was close, something interfered at the last second. Every time love felt safe, it turned into a heartbreak that left your heart trembling inside. This was not just emotional chaos happening randomly. This was a spiritual interference. Archangel Michael said, "You were not losing because you were weak, you were losing because someone was secretly benefiting from you staying spiritually stuck, and the Holy Court exposed this individual fully. Now it is time you know the truth that was hidden in the shadows for so long, and this part may break you emotionally for a moment, but it will liberate you forever. The person who blocked you was not an outsider. It was someone who once smiled for you. Someone who once acted supportive. Someone who once made you believe that they wanted your good life, too. This person never wanted your light to go higher than theirs. They never wanted your blessings to multiply. They liked you, but they liked you only when you were below them. They liked you only when you needed them. They liked you only when your dreams looked impossible because that made them feel superior inside. The moment your destiny started rising, their insecurity became active. Their fear became jealousy, and their soul projected limitations onto you, hoping you would accept those limits as your truth. But heaven intervened right before your spirit accepted that lie permanently. Archangel Michael said, "This person had access to you emotionally. They used it not to inspire your growth, but to slow your movement so they can stay comfortable with themselves. They never planned to destroy you completely. They just wanted you to never reach the version of yourself that would not need them anymore. They feared your independence. They feared your elevation. They feared your anointing. They feared your abundance. They feared your spiritual authority. And because they feared losing their false sense of superiority, they wanted to keep you soft, doubtful, confused, delayed, waiting, silent, forgiving, and always stuck in emotional healing mode instead of spiritual breakthrough mode." Heaven said enough. Once the ruling was declared, every cord that was draining you started breaking. Everything that was feeding off your energy without giving anything back has now been disconnected. You may feel like you are grieving something that already died without you realizing it. That is the removal process. That is the separation stage. That is the cleansing cycle. It is not meant to hurt you. It is meant to free you. Pain leaves first. Truth enters next. Strength rises third. And destiny activates last. That is the sequence heaven applies when a chosen one is prepared to step into divine justice. Your silence with the last test. You didn't fight back like normal humans do. You didn't attack to prove your worth. You didn't try to destroy anyone in revenge. You stayed silent and surrendered forgiveness even when it was hard. This silence became your strongest proof inside the holy court. Your silence turned into supernatural evidence that your heart never held evil intention. Your silence showed heaven that you were never the problem. Your heart was simply surrounded by souls who were terrified of your future version. And that righteous silence made your ruling powerful. Now, Archangel Michael says something rare. The Holy Court has not just given you freedom. They have authorized transition into a higher spiritual status. Meaning the pain you survived is not just being removed. It is being transformed into authority, wisdom, spiritual magnetism, higher intuition, divine attraction, and timeline acceleration. Your next phase will feel unreal compared to where you were stuck before. You will start noticing that your inner world begins shifting automatically. Decisions that once felt impossible will now feel effortless. Healing that felt hard will now feel instant. Things that used to trigger you deeply will now not even shake you slightly because the court ruling broke the root source of the emotional repetition cycle. And here is where it gets even more shocking. Your destiny is being rerouted into a timeline where you are now allowed to receive what was delayed. There is no more spiritual block on your calling. There is no more energetic hold on your blessings. There is no more limitation on your rise. Things that used to take months to manifest will now come in days. Doors that once felt locked will begin to open on their own. Opportunities you thought you lost forever will return in unexpected forms. People who doubted you will slowly begin to realize they misjudged you. And those who secretly betrayed you will watch blessings chase you without you chasing anything. That is divine justice. The Holy Court said your influence was always meant to rise. Your voice was always meant to reach far. Your gifts were always meant to activate abundance, not struggle. Your soul contract was written with a destiny that touches countless souls. And from this chapter onward, your purpose will become visible in ways you never expected. A supernatural glow is about to surround your journey. A divine momentum is being released. And even the heavens are preparing your path because the timeline of delay has expired permanently. Pay attention carefully. If you feel sudden separation from certain people, allow it. If you feel sudden emotional distance from certain, old situation, trusted. If you feel sudden lack of attachment to old wounds, accepted. This is proof that the ruling is already integrating in your spirit. You are moving into the identity heaven originally designed you to carry. You are stepping into a vibration where, clears throat, only aligned souls can match your energy. And this is where your story begins turning so fast that even you will say this feels supernatural. This transformation phase you are entering now is where most chosen ones stop doubting themselves forever. This phase will mark the moment you shift from surviving reality into shaping reality. You are not a victim anymore. You are the one whose destiny is now legally protected by the highest court in existence. And this divine legal seal cannot be reversed. Now you must prepare for what comes next, because in the next part, Archangel Michael will reveal why heaven specifically waited this long before releasing your ruling and why this timing is extremely rare. Before I reveal that part, I need you to do this because this channel is your spiritual pathway for alignment. Make sure you share this message so it reaches the other chosen ones connected to your destiny. Make sure you comment below so your energy stays anchored with the frequency of this ruling. And make sure you subscribe because the next revelations must reach you the moment they are released. Watch the next revelation. Every chosen soul goes through a season where everything feels delayed, slowed, stuck, paused, or frozen. You start questioning if you are blocked or if timing simply hates you. You start wondering why every time a breakthrough is 90% close, suddenly something small collapses it. You start asking yourself why others who have less purity, less heart, less depth, less intention, less spiritual truth seem to accelerate faster than you. And Archangel Michael says this is exactly why heaven waited before releasing your ruling. Because heaven needed you to reach a level of maturity where your elevation will not destroy your emotional balance. Heaven needed you strengthened before blessing you. Heaven protected your future by delaying what would have been too fragile to hold earlier. There were seasons you still used to love from wounds. There were seasons you still attached from fear. There were seasons you still trusted from loneliness, not from alignment. There were seasons you would have accepted wrong people back just because your heart felt empty and desperate to feel seen. Those versions of you would have misused blessings. Those versions of you would have given sacred gifts to unworthy hands. Those versions of you would have lost everything heaven was about to release for the future. This is why heaven waited. This is why they needed to let you reach a point where you stopped begging people to value you and started valuing yourself even if you stood alone. The Holy Court reviewed your timeline deeply and said you had to learn certain inner laws before they could activate your outer expansion. You had to learn boundaries without guilt. You had to learn silence without surrender. You had to learn detachment without fear. You had to learn self-worth without external validation. And you had to learn how to hold power without losing softness. These were not punishments. These were divine preparations. The ruling says that heaven had to protect your future from your old self first because blessings elevate you. But unhealed spirit would have caused destruction once abundance increases. Now, here is what makes this moment extremely rare. Heaven rarely releases rulings like this in the middle of ongoing chaos. Usually divine courts wait until cycles close naturally. But in your case have an accelerated intervention because your destiny started influencing other destinies that are tied to global impact. Your growth is not just for you. Your healing is not just for your life. Your alignment affects souls who are connected to your soul contract. And the moment heaven saw how the wrong people were slowing your path intentionally, the Holy Court said, "Stop it now." This is why the shift is happening urgently. This is why change is happening suddenly. This is why separation is happening quickly. This is why clarity is happening instantly. The divine system is moving through you with force because your next chapter influences many souls in ways you cannot yet see. Archangel Michael says, the result is shocking, not because heaven sided with you, but because the spiritual realm underestimated how strong your heart actually is. You did not break in the silence. You did not collapse in the waiting. You did not surrender your purpose even when pain attempted to drown you emotionally. Most people collapse before the verdict arrives. But you survived long enough for truth to expose itself. And your survival became the miracle itself. Because of this, the ruling in heaven became irreversible. From this point forward, you are not chasing alignment. Alignment will chase you. You are not chasing purpose. Purpose will rise inside you naturally. You are not chasing abundance, abundance will come toward you automatically. You are not chasing miracles. Miracles will manifest around you without force. You are not chasing recognition. Recognition will find you in unexpected ways because the ruling labeled your journey is activated destiny. This is not a season. This is your new spiritual identity. There will also be another subtle shift you will start feeling within days. Your emotional intuition will sharpen extremely. You will not be easily manipulated again. You will not be emotionally confused again. You will not fall for fake connections again. Your spirit will sense energy instantly before words even appear. Your heart will sense intention before actions prove themselves. Your intuition will tell you who is real, who is supportive, who is aligned, who is threatened, who is deceiving, who is trying to attach for benefit, and who is trying to access your blessings without doing the inner work. This is part of the reward of the ruling. Heaven gave you not just protection, but higher perception. There is more. The angels say, the version of you that struggled emotionally to detach is now dying. The version of you that felt heavy in past cycles is dissolving. The version of you that kept trying to justify your worth is no longer needed. The new timeline you are entering requires you to be unapologetically powerful and spiritually sovereign. You are stepping into identity where you no longer shrink your voice to avoid hurting fragile egos. You are stepping into identity where you no longer soften your light to make insecure souls comfortable. You are stepping into identity where you no longer serve in spaces that do not honor your presence because heaven granted you authority to move boldly. Now Archangel Michael is preparing to reveal something deeper in the next part. Something extremely rare that almost no one is allowed to hear. Why heaven specifically chose you in this generation and why this ruling is connected to a blessing that will not just change a chapter but shift your entire lifetime trajectory. Something massive is coming next. Don't skip. Every generation has a select handful of souls who carry something so rare inside them that heaven protects their path differently than others. You were not made to live a normal story. You were never built for average destiny. Every pain you survived, every disappointment you lived through, every betrayal that cut through your soul was not random emotional suffering. It was spiritual refinement. Heaven was shaping you to carry weight in the future that most humans cannot handle. And this is why Archangel Michael said your case had to be reviewed in heaven, not on earth. Because earth would have judged you based on your wounds, but heaven judged you based on your endurance. Earth would have judged you based on temporary moments of weakness. But heaven judged you based on the strength you kept showing every single time you stood back up again. The Holy Court said, "You are chosen not because you are perfect, but because you don't quit. You don't abandon your soul even when your heart feels heavy. You don't betray yourself even when others betray you easily. You don't break people even when they break you. Your soul carries a sacred endurance that is extremely rare." And Archangel Michael said this quality is what made heaven shift timelines for your sake because they saw you survive storms that should have destroyed you mentally. They saw you survive heartbreaks that should have made you numb for life. They saw you survive losses that should have made you stop believing in anything good. But every time darkness pushed you down, you eventually rose again. Even if it took time, even if it was slow, even if you had to rebuild yourself piece by piece, you still rose. And this is what shocked the Holy Court. They said, "How does this soul still hold purity after all this?" This is why heaven called your file again. This is why your case was reopened. This is why the ruling was accelerated. Because you kept proving again and again that no matter how much pain comes, your soul does not turn bitter. You still remain capable of love. You still remain capable of compassion. You still remain capable of loyalty. You still remain capable of believing in impossible things. Heaven saw the beauty inside your consistency when the world only saw your breakdowns. Now, this next part is the important one. Heaven waited for the moment where your identity separated from pain. They waited until you no longer needed anyone to validate you. They waited until your worth came from your inner truth, not from the attention of others. They waited until you love yourself enough to protect your energy. Because now you are stepping into a timeline where blessings will multiply faster than you expected. And if you entered this season earlier, you might have wasted your blessings by offering them to the wrong people. Now heaven knows you are ready to receive and protect what will come. You are ready to stop bleeding emotionally for people who cannot heal themselves. You are ready to stop settling for crumbs. You are ready to walk in self-respect and sacred alignment. And heaven now trusts you with this shift. Archangel Michael says, the shocking part of the ruling is this. Your divine inheritance timeline has been unlocked. Meaning the blessings that were meant for your lifetime but delayed because of emotional blockage are now accelerating directly toward you. This will include healing that feels supernatural. This will include opportunities that appear from directions you never saw coming. This will include soul connections that match your frequency and not your trauma. This will include sudden upgrades that feel unreal in the beginning. Your life is not just entering a new chapter. Your life is entering a new league. And this is why the Holy Court does not want you returning to old cycles. They do not want you to feel obligated to fix anyone anymore. They do not want you to lower your soul vibration just to make others comfortable. They do not want you to give chances where you already gave enough proof of loyalty. You are stepping into a territory where your spirit will align with people who respect your calling. You are stepping into environments where your dreams are not mocked but supported. You are stepping into connections where your emotions are safe, not drained. You are stepping into a world where your authenticity is not judged but honored. This ruling changed the texture of your destiny. It changed the timeline of your blessings and changed the frequency of your reality, and you will not have to struggle the same way again. The patterns that used to repeat in loops are being broken permanently. The emotional patterns that kept attracting the same type of pain are dissolving. The spiritual pattern that kept delaying your breakthrough is dismantled. Your soul is entering quantum alignment. Now you will feel this shift in your intuition first, then in your dreams, then in your energy field, and then in your physical reality. Because heaven always shifts the unseen before it shifts the seen. Archangel Michael says the most shocking part for your enemies is this. The person they tried keeping small is now about to rise higher than all of them combined. They will wonder how you suddenly changed so fast. It will ask how your life turned into something so powerful when you did nothing different physically. What they don't understand is spiritual rulings change earthly experiences. Once heaven stamps your destiny, earth must bow to it. And no one can stop it. And no one can interrupt it. And no one can block it. No one can compete with it. Your rise belongs to you alone. And this elevation will be visible to many. This is part of divine justice. Before I go to the next part, do one thing now. Share this message so it reaches the souls who need it. Like you needed this confirmation today. Comment below because your alignment and energy is part of this ruling now. And subscribe so the next divine revelations reach you instantly when they are released for the chosen timeline. Watch the next revelation. Every spiritual verdict carries a ripple effect that begins unfolding long before you notice it in the physical realm. Archangel Michael says that your ruling did not activate only one shift. It activated multiple chains of destiny that were frozen for years. In heaven's dimension, nothing is delayed accidentally. Nothing is paused without purpose. Nothing is held back without a deeper reason that benefits you in the long term. And this is why you are entering a stage where everything that once felt slow will suddenly begin moving quickly, smoothly, and effortlessly. What once felt impossible will feel reachable. What once felt locked will suddenly feel available. And what once felt far away will now begin pulling itself closer to you without you forcing anything. The moment heaven released your rule and the timeline of waiting collapsed. The season of maintaining faith without evidence has completed. Your spiritual assignment now transitions into embodiment mode. You are not praying for miracles the same way anymore because now miracles know where to find you. This shift is not emotional imagination. This shift is divine execution. There is a reason your inner self feels like something massive is building. There is a reason you feel a silent surge of strange new strength. There is a reason your intuition feels like it is being rewritten from inside. You are stepping into your divine authorized life path. Now, Archangel Michael said that before this ruling, you did not realize how many spiritual eyes were watching you. There are ancestors on your bloodline who prayed for someone like you to break the generational pattern that no one before was able to break. You were the one chosen to heal cycles that repeated for decades. You were the one chosen to rewrite endings that always ended in a heartbreak. You were the one chosen to create the first breakthrough that your bloodline never got to taste. And heaven could not release your blessings until this moment because your spirit had to strengthen, enough to hold not just your own destiny but redemption for those who came before you and never received what they deserved. This is why their prayers are attached to you. And this is why their unfinished blessings are also transferring to you now. The pain you survived was not yours alone. The heartbreak you healed from was not yours alone. The wounds you carried were not yours alone. You were breaking invisible chains that existed before your birth. Heaven chose you because you were the only one strong enough to endure that weight without losing your heart. And now that the cycles have been broken, the blessings that were blocked for generations will now start flowing through your timeline. You will start noticing people feel different around you. Your energy will start shifting environments not because you force change but because your vibration itself begins influencing the atmosphere around you. People will listen differently when you speak. People will react differently to your presence. People will feel guided, calmed or awakened just by being near you. This is part of the ruling. Your voice now carries authority. Your presence now carries divine reinforcement. Your spirit now carries access to heavenly protection at a level not given to regular souls. The Holy Court said you are entering a stage of divine visibility. Not because you want attention, but because your purpose requires it. You were hidden so long, not because you were unworthy, but because heaven was securing you from premature exposure. Are this God attack with it God? Fine, but now heaven is revealing you. Heaven is positioning you. Heaven is marking you. You will not be invisible anymore. You will not be unheard anymore. You will not be underestimated anymore. The time of being overlooked is over permanently. Archangel Michael also said that not every connection can access you anymore. Many souls from your past will energetically drift away without explanation. Some will suddenly disconnect. Some will suddenly get silent. Some will suddenly avoid you. And you must not chase clarity. You must not chase closure. You must not chase emotional understanding. Their exit is confirmation that they were not authorized to enter the next stage of your destiny. You do not need to hold on to what heaven is removing. You do not need to revive old attachments. You do not need to reopen emotional doors that heaven is shutting forever. The next phase you are stepping into requires emotional clarity, spiritual discipline. Teach self-respect and inner peace. Your heart must not be distracted. Your mind must not be pulled into unnecessary chaos. Your spirit must not be drained by online souls. You are rising into a frequency where peace will become your default state. The more you elevate, the less chaos will exist in your world. Peace will surround you naturally because your spirit is no longer tied to trauma cycles. And Archangel Michael says this next truth is extremely important for you to understand. Blessings follow energy, not effort. In your past timeline, you used physical effort to survive emotionally. You worked harder than others emotionally. You healed deeper than others emotionally. You carried weight that others would not have lasted under. Your future blessings are not coming because of physical hustle. They are coming because your soul earned divine approval. Effort may open doors on earth, but divine rulings open doors. No power on earth can shut again. This is why the next phase will feel like acceleration without strain. Now something rare is about to happen. Your spiritual alignment will begin attracting opportunities that were always meant for you but were blocked because the people around you at the time would have interfered with it. Now that they have been spiritually removed, those opportunities are being released. You will notice very strange synchronicities. You will notice sudden intuitive impulses that lead you exactly where you need to be. You will notice sudden inner nudges that make you make decisions without fear because the divine realm is guiding you step by step now with extreme precision. Heaven does not want you guessing anymore. They want you aligned. They want you sharp. They want you ready. Everything that was once delayed now needs to accelerate. Everything that was blocked now needs to open. Everything that was suppressed now needs to rise. And this is why the emotional heaviness that once stopped you will now begin to feel like a distant vibration from an old timeline you no longer belong to. There are certain heartbreaks that your soul survived and that were not meant to destroy you. They were designed to break an old version of you that would not have survived where your destiny was always meant to take you. Archangel Michael says, the reason those heartbreaks cut so deep, the reason those losses hit you so personally, the reason those endings felt like they were ripping your soul apart was because heaven was forcefully closing cycles that your human self would not have had the courage to walk away from on your own. Heaven could not let you carry certain attachments, beliefs, wounds, patterns, fears, emotional dependencies, or illusions into your divine timeline. Something had to die before something could rise. And the death you experienced emotionally was not the death of your purpose. It was the death of the version of you that could not hold that purpose. Heaven saw parts of you still trying to heal places inside others that only God can reach. They saw you trying to fix hearts with your love while ignoring the damage their actions were causing inside your soul. They saw you sacrificing yourself to prove loyalty to people who never planned to reflect that loyalty back. They saw you defending the wrong souls simply because your compassion made you blind to your own worth. And the Holy Court said that if heaven allowed you to keep loving in that direction, you would have never stepped into your calling. So heartbreaks were not punishments. They were divine surgeries. Heaven cut away what you could not release voluntarily, Every heartbreak you experienced was a closing of a timeline you were not meant to live inside anymore. Archangel Michael said, "The shocking truth is this. Heaven allowed some people to break you because their betrayal revealed who they truly were faster than patience ever could. If they stayed, they would have secretly blocked you longer. If they stayed, they would have drained your soul until you forgot your own light. If they stayed, you would have continued shrinking yourself to fit inside small spaces that were never designed for you. Their exit with the beginning of your revelation. And heaven allowed the pain so the truth could be seen clearly and exposes deception faster than comfort does. This is why your tears were powerful. This is why your sadness was instructional. Every heartbreak purified your sight. Every heartbreak sharpened your intuition. Every heartbreak positioned you closer to who you truly are. Now, Archangel Michael says something crucial. The reason you did not heal instantly was because heaven was reconstructing your emotional identity layer by layer. You were being emptied of old emotional imprints before you could be filled with divine spiritual identity. You had to learn what love is not before you could receive what true soul alignment feels like. You had to learn what loyalty does not look like before heaven could send souls who genuinely honor your presence. You had to learn what manipulation feels like so you could recognize authenticity without confusion. You had to learn how darkness hides inside good intentions so you would never again misjudge emotional threats. Heaven made sure your heart graduated pain with wisdom, not bitterness. That is why even after breaking you still remained capable of love. That is why heaven trusts you now. Your heart broke but it never turned cold. Your soul cracked but it never surrendered its purity. Your trust was wounded but you never lost capacity to believe. Every heartbreak you survived became part of your spiritual testimony. Every tear you cried became part of your soul elevation. Every silent night you suffered became part of your spiritual strength. And now that you have endured this purification, heaven says you are finally safe to rise into the abundance that was written for you before birth. Archangel Michael says, now begins the timeline where the love you receive will not damage you. The people who enter your life next will not drain you. The connections coming toward you will match your healed frequency. What is coming now will not repeat the emotional patterns of your past. This is why your future looks so different from anything you have ever experienced before. You are not emotionally the same person anymore. You are spiritually not the same person anymore. You are stepping into a version of yourself that does not chase acceptance. You are stepping into a version of yourself that does not seek validation. You are stepping into a version of yourself that does not beg for loyalty. This version of you walks with authority. This version of you carries divine confidence. This version of you understands that your worth is not determined by who stayed but is protected by who heaven removes. The Holy Core declared that every heartbreak was a pre-initiation into higher consciousness. Destiny requires emotional evolution. Purpose requires energetic elevation. Leadership requires spiritual emotional stability. You had to become someone who cannot be broken by abandonment. You had to become someone who does not collapse when feeling temporarily alone. You had to become someone who knows how to stand strong even if no one claps for you. Because where you are going, applause is not the fuel. Identity is the fuel. Spiritual authority is the fuel. Divine alignment is the fuel. And this new identity has now been activated within you. Now, Archangel Michael says something extremely rare is about to be revealed in the next part. The Holy Court did not just rule your case. They also assigned a divine role connected to your lifetime purpose. They assigned a calling that will anchor directly into your future reality. This role is the reason why your timeline is shifting so intensely right now. This role is why your elevation had to happen in this exact era. This next revelation will explain the real reason heaven needed you specifically out of millions active in this generation. Stay till the next part. There are specific souls born in certain timelines whose existence is not for ordinary purpose but for divine intervention on earth itself. Archangel Michael says you are one of those souls. And the world you are stepping into next is not going to look anything like the version of reality you survived. The Holy Court didn't only rule your case to release you from past cycles. They rule because your presence is needed for the future shift that is happening spiritually on earth. There is an awakening wave rising in this generation, and heaven required certain chosen ones to be fully active and aligned before that wave starts moving. You are one of these chosen ones. That is why your timeline was attacked so deeply, so violently, so constantly. Darkness always tries to collapse the ones heaven raised for leadership before they realize who they are. You were not under attack because you were weak. You were under attack because you are important. Archangel Michael says, heaven needed this exact version of you, not the version you once were earlier in life. The older version of you was still learning self-worth. The older version of you was still learning how to see your own value. The older version of you was still learning emotional boundaries. The older version of you was still learning how to protect your spirit. But this version of you now is different. This version of you knows your value. This version of you understands alignment. This version of you respects your soul. This version of you is spiritually awakened. Heaven needed this version to be activated before the ruling was released. And now that you reach this level internally, all divine external activation can finally begin. This ruling in heaven was not just the end of your suffering. It is the inauguration of your spiritual office. You are not entering your future as a seeker, and you are entering as a carrier of light, a carrier of awakening, a carrier of divine breakthrough. You are part of the frequency shift happening in this generation. You are meant to influence others through your transformation. You are meant to become a beacon of hope for souls who are lost in the same pain you once drowned in. Heaven is giving you voice not for attention but for activation. You speak from wounds that healed. And that voice is dangerous to darkness because healed souls are the most powerful souls. Archangel Michael says the next phase of your journey is not about survival. It is about leadership, not leadership over crowds, leadership over vibration, leadership over energy, leadership over frequency, leadership over consciousness. When a chosen soul evolves from wounded identity into awakened authority, their existence itself becomes a force. You are stepping into that force. Now your spirit carries weight. Your voice will influence timelines. Your presence will trigger change in others. Your energy will create shifts even in silence. People will feel something when you walk into their life. And that something is not intimidation. That is their soul recognizing your divine identity. The Holy Court assigned you a divine purpose in this lifetime to break generational cycles. Not only for yourself but for every soul who is energetically linked to your frequency. You are a breaker. You are a healer. You are a restorer. Your story was never about punishment. Your story was training. Every battle you survived educated your spirit in ways no teaching could have. Every betrayal taught you spiritual discernment. Every heartbreak taught you emotional intelligence. Every loss taught you detachment. Every delay taught you patience. Every breaking taught you resilience. All of those things now merge inside you as spiritual authority. Archangel Michael says, your purpose is not loud. Your purpose is precise. You are not meant to convince the world. You are meant to transform those who are assigned to your soul line. There are souls you haven't even met yet whose lives will shift because of your existence. There are souls you will speak to in the future who will feel God through your voice without you having to preach anything. There are souls who will find faith again because they see how your life transformed after heartbreak. There are souls who will believe in miracles again because they witness your destiny unfold in front of them. Heaven needed you healed before those souls arrive. That is why timing was important. If you met them too early, you would have been influenced. And now when they come, you will be the influencer. The shocking secret is this. The reason you felt like you didn't fit into any environment before was because you were not meant to. You were not built for ordinary circles. You were not built for average spaces. You were not built for surface-level connections. Your soul was always carrying an ancient calling. You always sensed life meant more than survival. You always sensed there was something higher. You always sensed you were being prepared for something bigger than personal success. And now that you are crossing into this next dimension, all those inner whispers finally make sense. Archangel Michael says, the emotional sensitivity you carried your whole life was not weakness. It was your radar. That radar was training you to navigate energy. That radar was teaching you how to read people. That radar is now your advantage. You can feel the truth behind words. You can feel intention behind silence. You can feel alignment before evidence. That sensitivity is now spiritual weaponry. Heaven only gives this accuracy to souls who will use perception for protection, not manipulation. Your destiny is now entering alignment with divine synchronicity. Nothing will happen randomly now. Everything will happen by divine orchestration. The right opportunities will appear at the exact moment you are ready. The right souls will appear when their arrival serves your expansion. The right connections will form naturally. You do not need to chase destiny. You need to allow destiny. You do not need to force manifestation. You need to flow with manifestation. Your job now is to remain aligned with the frequency heaven elevated you into. In the next part, Archangel Michael will reveal the prophecy connected to your future identity and why certain specific blessings are about to appear rapidly in your timeline as physical proof that the ruling in heaven is not symbolic but activated in reality. This is where the prophecy part begins next. Prophetic alignment is the stage where heaven no longer allows your future to remain invisible. This is the stage where destiny begins showing itself in small fragments before the full manifestation arrives. Archangel Michael says this is the era you have now entered. Heaven has already stamped your verdict, which means there is no more negotiation phase, no more reviewing phase, no more waiting for permission phase. The ruling is final. Your blessings are no longer in spiritual preparation mode. They are now in delivery mode. And the Holy Court is getting ready to reveal prophecy-level blessings that were always yours, but could only be released once your emotional identity became strong enough to carry them without losing yourself. You had to be broken before blessings could be built correctly, because heaven does not release abundance to a fragmented foundation. Now your foundation is unshakable. Archangel Michael says, there are 3 major blessings that will begin showing up in your reality as proof that this ruling is real. These are not vague blessings. These are not symbolic metaphors. These are physical manifestations that will enter your tangible timeline in ways even your logical human mind won't be able to deny. The first blessing is restoration of what you lost in ways that will feel unreal. Something that was taken, locked, delayed, rejected, ignored, or unfairly removed from you will begin returning in a new, upgraded form. Do not expect it to return in the exact same shape it was before. Heaven does not recycle what broke you. Heaven replaces, elevates, and multiplies what once wounded you. The restoration will not feel like returning to where you left off. It will feel like leveling up beyond where you ever imagined you could reach. This is divine justice. The second blessing that is about to manifest is emotional clarity in relationships. Heaven is preparing to send souls into your life who match your healed identity, not your wounded past. These new connections will not drain your energy. They will expand it. They will not silence your intuition. They will amplify it. They will not try to possess you. They will protect your heart space. Heaven will bring people into your path who see your value instantly without you ever having to prove anything. They will not love you for what you can give. They will love you for who you truly are. These relationships will support your divine purpose instead of distracting you from it. And when these new bonds form, you will understand why old relationships had to end, because old vibrations cannot survive inside divine rulings. The third blessing is supernatural alignment of opportunities that elevate your lifestyle, your purpose, and your influence. There are doors coming that you will not have to knock on. These doors will recognize your name because heaven pre-marked them before you even arrive. These chances will feel like destiny calling you by identity, not by coincidence. Archangel Michael says, this is where your prophecy begins showing signs in the physical realm. The people you were meant to connect with will begin appearing synchronistically. The opportunities your soul was always prepared for will begin aligning. The breakthroughs that were locked behind spiritual interference will begin manifesting in sudden waves. This is part of the final stage of activation. What heaven has decided about you is not normal destiny. It is appointed destiny. Appointed destiny means your soul has been assigned a very specific impact on Earth. You were never meant to live quietly in the background. You were always meant to shift the atmosphere around you by simply existing in your authentic frequency. And this ruling now gives heaven full legal permission to push, elevate, guide, and accelerate you without the resistance you once experienced. Spiritual interferences are finished. Emotional hijacking is finished. Cycles of karmic repetition are finished. Your soul has transitioned from victim patterns into divine assignment mode. Archangel Michael says, your testimony itself will become prophetic evidence for others who still believe they are stuck. Your breakthrough will become the sign that miracles still exist. Your elevation will become the signal that destiny can rewrite itself at any time when heaven decides. Your existence will become living proof that chosen ones may be delayed, but they can never be denied. You are not stepping into a season where you are lucky. You are stepping into a season where you are lied. Heaven waited for the moment where you stop needing approval from earth before granting you approval in heaven. And once heaven approves, earth follows. This is why resistance is dissolving without you forcing anything. This is why you are feeling a strange sense of calm even without knowing the full future. This is why certain fears suddenly feel lighter, weaker, smaller. Your nervous system is no longer operating in survival mode. Your soul has moved into fulfillment frequency. Everything is aligning. Now something extremely shocking must be revealed. The Holy Court did not only lift the block, they also inserted a divine acceleration clause into your destiny. Meaning the years you lost emotionally, mentally, and spiritually will be returned to you in accelerated blessing form. Time will fold in your favor. Delays will pay back dividends. Zits will become shortcuts. Losses will convert into gains. Pain will become prophetic transformation. Where normal people take decades to reach, you will reach in much shorter time because your spirit has already paid the price through suffering, endurance, and silent strength. Archangel Michael says, this is what makes your future so unbelievable. You will not rise slowly. You will rise in sudden leaps. What others see as miracles will actually be justice. What others see as overnight success will actually be divine alignment. The universe itself will shift to rearrange your life path. Heaven has given final ruling. There is no reverse option. And now the next part will reveal how your future version already exists in the spiritual dimension waiting for you to step fully into that identity, and why once this alignment happens there will be no turning back ever again. Archangel Michael says, the version of you that is coming next is the version every past pain was preparing. This new identity is unstoppable. This new destiny is reversible. You are stepping into a future where everything aligns for you. You will not chase blessing, and more blessing will chase you. The Holy Court has spoken. Your path is cleared. Your rise is authorized. Your spirit is crowned. Walk forward now with certainty, because what is written in heaven must manifest on earth. This is your new beginning.